It is not often that I talk about the same film franchises 2 videos in a row. I don't like doing that. I like to spread it around and talk about different topics, but I had to make an exception for the DCU. Why? It is because Supergirl, which I have cheekily been calling Superwoman, Woman of Tomorrow, instead of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I discovered that there is a pretty significant title change, and I wanted to talk about what that means, or at least what I think it means. So sit back, relax, and welcome to Studio Jake. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute, going for a ride down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. I am the host of the Studio Jake vidcast. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. There is some new news when it comes to the Superman franchise, which is why I wasn't able to wear my Superman shirt. It is still in my dirty clothes laundry because of everything that is going on. And it is true, there is a lot going on. James Gunn confirmed that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is going to have a name change to simply Supergirl. Now, those of you who might remember, there was a Supergirl movie that came out around the same time as the Christopher Reeves Superman films, and they, of course, starred Helen Slater as Supergirl. Well, we have a new rebooted version coming out, and it's said to be pretty fantastic. It's going to be a direct follow up to Superman, and also is going to help kickstart the James Gunn and Peter Safran DC universe of films. Originally, it was titled Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but as I stated earlier, it has been confirmed by multiple news outlets that James Gunn is changing the name to simply Supergirl. Now, I think that is a good idea. My only concern is I don't want people to be confused that it is tied to the terrible CW show. I say terrible, it started off good and then it quickly went off the rails. But my point is, I'm actually excited about the Supergirl movie, more so about Superman and eventually the Batman DCU film. But I am excited for Supergirl. I'm going to give it a chance, or at least wait until I see the trailer before I make a judgment call on what I think the film is going to be. One thing that did concern me was that writer Tom King was tied to it. For those of you who don't know, Tom King was the writer for Batman immediately following the DC Rebirth. He did the War of Jokes and Riddles, which was actually a pretty good run. I know it has a lot of people criticizing it, but I actually liked War of Jokes and Riddles, I will admit it. I also like the stuff leading up to issue 50, where Batman was supposed to finally marry Catwoman. There was this really funny issue called Double Date, where Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle go on a double date with Clark Kent and Lois Lane, and the men and the women swap their clothes. I actually thought that that was really funny. So you see Bruce Wayne walking around in a Superman costume, and Clark Kent is dressed up as the Batman. It was actually a pretty clever issue. However, issue 50, the conclusion, the series goes off the rails. He does this whole City of Bane story arc where for some reason Thomas Wayne comes from a different world and then allies with Bane of all people, and he's trying to convince Bruce Wayne to give up being the Batman, and they have this battle, and it just, like I said, went off the rails really, really quickly. Then he went on to write a Mr. Miracle reboot, a Human Target reboot, where they turned Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, into some sort of, shall we say, a person who commits battery against women and even kills him off in that series. It was just really terrible. And he also did the infamous Heroes in Crisis, which was supposed to be another reboot to DC, but it was so unpopular. Now DC just pretends like it didn't even exist, especially after people saw what they did to Wally West in that show. I actually did a breakdown of it called Why Does DC Comics Hate Wally West? You can go back and watch that episode. It's from way back when that series first was going around. Now, what does this mean for Supergirl? Well, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow was a Tom King project in the comic books, so it really concerned me that James Gunn tapped him to help write Supergirl and that it was taking the title of his series. I was not happy about this. Like I said, Tom King, he has gone completely off the rails, and after the way he treated artist Jai Lee. He should not be allowed anywhere near DC Comics, Marvel Studios, or Image Comics or Dynamite Comics. Basically, no comic book company should allow this man to write. None of his series do well. They all end up being canceled prematurely, or he gets some sort of mini series opportunity like what he did when his run with Batman ended. Essentially, this guy is a terrible writer, is what I'm trying to say. Also, he's a former CIA operative, so that makes him a ex-Fed, so take that for what it is. Anyway, I was not happy with him infiltrating the comic book industry and then the film industry with Supergirl. What I am hoping is the fact that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow being changed to simply Supergirl is a sign that James Gunn is backing off of the Tom King influence. He may still get credit for his work in the movie, but I'm hoping that that means that they are moving away. Hopefully, they're going to take away sort of what was being rumored to be a girl boss perspective, and you were going to get a hint of that in Superman. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. Perhaps now that the name changed, that's a signal that it's going to go away, that she won't be better than Superman, that she's going to stand on her own 2 feet and doesn't have to put down Superman to make herself super. And I am a fan of Supergirl. She's not my favorite female superhero of all time, but I really do like the post-crisis sort of pre-old 52 version of her that was introduced in the Batman Superman comics, where they cross over and she crashes into Gotham City and Superman goes to Gotham to find her. She's sent off with the Amazons to train, gets kidnapped by Darkseid. They actually did a really good film adaptation of that. Bruce Timm produced it. Bruce Timm, famous for Batman the Animated Series. The artwork is a little weird in that film, but it's called Batman, Superman, Supergirl. It's a very solid film. I highly recommend it. And also the comic book adaptation of that story, or I should say the comic book source material is really good as well. Of course, I also like the Supergirl that was introduced in Superman the Animated Series, again produced by Bruce Timm. And that one, she's not Kryptonian. She's from a sister planet of Krypton, and so she has the same abilities as Superman. She's more of his adopted cousin than his actual cousin, and she of course is featured in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I didn't like how her story arc ended, where they had her go into the future to be with the Legion of Superheroes. I wish that she had stayed in present day and had become a prominent member of the Justice League, but that's just my opinion on it. Hopefully James Gunn will go to those resources instead of Tom King for this film. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, tell what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you want to support me in the work that I do, head on over to my website, studiojakemedia.substack.com. You can read most of my articles for free, or you can subscribe and unlock different tiers that have different perks, including getting to pick out a topic for me to write about or to film here on the vidcast. Also on my Substack is a conveniently titled Buy My Book section where you can pick up all of my novels. And they all have links to Amazon where you can get one or all four. Leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.
'Cause I've been living life right like I